Hello, welcome, and if you're back, thank you so much for coming back. I'm really excited slash nervous about today's video or this video. I'm likely going to have to film it in multiple days because there's a lot of different things that I'm hoping to accomplish so that I can give you the full reveal at the end. And it's kind of like big projects. Like I may have bit off more than I can chew here. But I am excited. I'm going to be upgrading some things in this plant room slash office area. It all started because my rug was recently ruined. And by recently, actually not that recently, several months ago. It's ruined beyond repair, unfortunately. So it all started with, I need a new rug. So I, looked and whatever and finally found a rug that I love. So in replacing the rug, I haven't even done it yet, but it was like I'm gonna have to move a lot of this furniture around, and then yeah. I want to say my creative juices were flowing, and while they were and have been in a lot of different things of my life, to be honest, but a lot to do with plants also and the space. I've also been doing a lot of reflecting, and truth of the matter is my desk that is right next to me, you can't see right now, I haven't sat to do work at my desk for probably over a year now. And I do work from home, but usually like if I have to be on my computer, I'm either like in the kitchen, on the island, or on the couch so that I could also, keep track of the dogs and things. And truthfully, at the end of the day, if I did need an office space to shut the door and take a meeting or what have you, I do have my vanity that's over on this side that you also can't see that I can use as a desk space if need be. And this is probably getting a lot more in depth than you care to hear, but I'll share really briefly that when I first set up my home office, it wasn't even this desk or the setup, this was at a different house also before we moved here, was me manifesting I wanted a work from home job. And while I do still work from home, I think that the idea of what the work from home job that I want has evolved. And I also think that I was kind of programmed to think that work equals a desk, and that's not necessarily true, especially this day and age. So ultimately, the desk is just not being used. We're probably not going to get rid of the desk in this video. Very, very likely not. But anyway, just to give you a little bit of insight as to just what I've been thinking and just everything that's been flowing, and with the need to move things, is kind of why this video was born, because then there are a couple of other things that I added and still want to add to that wall that I'll do with you in this video. I mentioned in another video my moss poles are gone, so we're gonna do something else with that area next to the cabinet. Don't even get me started on the Milsbo wide cabinet. I love my greenhouse cabinets, but I've also recently been thinking, do I want more of an open shelving thing there instead of a cabinet? We're not getting rid of the cabinet anytime soon. That project is for another time, not now. But anyway, I've been thinking about that too. I also finally found a console that I think I am going to love for under this window. So we are replacing that console in this video, and yeah, just a couple of like things here and there to give it a refresh, and I'm excited to share all of that with you. I hope that sounds good to you. Let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna get started just moving furniture out. I think the first thing I want to do is move the furniture, give it a nice vacuum, make sure the area is nice and clean. We'll replace the rug, and then I'm not sure how I'll be feeling after that, but potentially maybe put together the console that's down there. Either way, you'll see all of this in one video, but this may be a multi-day, not may, for sure it's gonna be a multi-day process sort of thing. And I'm also excited to show you, I got some things that are going to, or I'm going to be adding to this wall over here on top of the Milsbo wide. Also at the end of this, it's almost time to bring my plants back into my Milsbo wide cabinet, so I'm super excited about that. Okay, yeah, so I guess I should stop procrastinating and start moving this furniture around. I was thinking I would only have to move the desk, but the more I went around, I think I may have to move the console. And I'm wondering if I should just make the decision and do that now, or if I should still try to keep it in place. I think I'm gonna try to just remove this original rug first and then see how we go from there. Unfortunately, I do think I need to move the console, and honestly, ideally the Milsbo wide too, but I'm gonna try to keep the Milsbo wide. I'm gonna remove this pad, vacuum, get the console out, and then hopefully it'll be easier. It has been quite several days since I last was on here and installed the rug. Honestly, I think I'm just getting in my head about all of the things I would like to do and versus like what I can realistically do for this video. And yeah, I was just in my head about that. Also, I'm not motivated to clean the Milsbo wide cabinet again, although it's time to bring the plants back in, but I have just been sitting with that a lot and how frustrating that has been with the spider mites in that cabinet. And I love my cabinets, I said that before, I really do, but I feel very strongly that when I bring the plants back in, if like, again, it happens the cycle where in the 2 weeks I'm seeing spider mites again, I will probably get rid of the cabinet altogether because they're clearly hiding somewhere that I'm not able to get to, and I don't have the energy and patience to take every single thing apart, like all the weather stripping and all of the cord management, so that I can really thoroughly clean it. Although, you know, technically spider mites can't survive for more than a couple of days if they don't have plants to feed on, and this has been empty now for over 3 weeks, so technically they shouldn't be in there. But yeah, I'm just having a lot of feelings about that, in addition to like other things that I wish I could do for this video, but won't be able to. But there are other things that I am really excited to do and share with you, and what we're gonna do today is set up the new console for this area. There's a little bit more I want to share with you about that, but I think that I'll get into that once it's built. It should be super easy. It requires no tools, so I'm very excited about that. And then depending on how I'm feeling, once that's in a place where, you know, we need to stop, I may start tackling some of this wall over here above the Milsbo wide cabinet. There's just a couple things. I want to do some plant rearranging. I want to add some of the clip grow lights because that is a pretty dark wall. And did I say add more plants, rearranging, stuff like that? So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I have the package right underneath you, so I'll bring you back probably. We'll open it up, get it set up, and I don't think that I'm actually gonna be able to set it up or like replace this one yet today because I'm pending something else that I need for it. And then also, let me open it and then we'll talk all through it. This is the box, so let me just open it up and we'll bring all the pieces out, and then yeah, I'll show you how it gets built. True to form, I haven't even started building yet, and I had a little bit of hiccups. Okay, so I purchased this from an Etsy shop. I'm sure you've seen advertisements for them, probably. They're called Unfinished Furniture. I did buy this myself with my own money. And it is a 2-shelf console, and it has more space between the shelves. So I just think that I'll be able to better utilize the space. And then the way it works together is pieces just like go into the grooves, if you can see that, with each other. So it requires no tools. I'm very excited about that. So yeah, let me just, what I was alluding to, or like not really saying before, is that it's unfinished. So I was thinking, I don't want to paint it or anything. I want to keep and preserve that natural wood color, but I was thinking about waxing it. So, and then also when I was thinking about waxing it, like, you know, just in case water spills and things like that, I don't want to damage it. But I was thinking maybe I would only wax like the 2 top surfaces. Like I don't necessarily need to wax top and bottom or the legs. I haven't decided. So we're gonna build it since it's super easy. So let's just build it. Why isn't all furniture this easy to assemble? I cannot believe how easy that was, and it's so much more beautiful than I thought, actually. It's very, very pretty. I'm definitely thinking that wax is the way to go. I don't want to do any kind of clear coat because I'd like to preserve the look of it as much as possible. So let me actually consult with my husband and see what he thinks about whether the whole thing needs to be waxed, or maybe I can just get away with the 2 top surfaces. The plot thickens, so he definitely thinks that I should wax the whole thing. He thinks if I don't want to do the undersides, I don't have to, but ideally I should because it's going to change the color slightly. We did a test shot on some other pieces of wood that we have really similar to this, and I'll insert it on the screen. It warms up the color. I mean, I don't want to say quite a bit, but it definitely changes the color. It's more like golden-ish. It's not bad. I think I could live with it. It'd be fine, but I do really love this like white wood look that it currently has now, but I also know that leaving it bare is just a recipe to have it damaged because inevitably something's gonna spill, I'm gonna have to wipe it down, you know, whatever, and I really don't want to damage it. Decisions. I think I might sit with it for a little bit before I decide what I want to do. It's such a beautiful piece as is. I don't think I realized that wax would change the color. And I know that clear, maybe I can look into clear coats that are truly clear, like satin finish or something, and see if maybe that's a better option. I really just want to finish this project already. I want to like get it installed and in its spot, and yeah, I think it's just gonna be so nice there. It'll also open up some of the width because it's a little more it's not as wide, so narrow, is that the right, yeah, than the white one I have. And I just think it's going to be more functional for the plants that I want to place there, period, and it'll add some warmth. I mean, that shelf that's above my Milsbo wide is warmer, so it would match. It's just, do I want it to? I hate this. I think I'm gonna allow myself a minute to think about that. And in the meantime, I want to clean up what's going on over here on this wall. I'll show you, I've added 2 more small shelves to the sides of them. And yeah, I think I'll just clean it for now. May add more plants. And then hopefully I will come back with a decision on what's happening with this piece.
I just wanna go out on a walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. You don't have to tell me anything that's new. I just wanna go out on a walk with you. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine, sailing over pavement with our 2 elbows. I like to see the shape you're in from time to time. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine. I just wanna see the same things you can see, understand the meaning on a new degree. Maybe that could happen when you're next to me. I just wanna see the same things you can see. Wanna go out on a walk with you. Could be 20 minutes or an hour or 2. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. I just wanna go out on a walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk.
So these are the 2 shelves I added. I already had them, and I already had them with those shelf brackets, which, you know, aren't the most attractive, and especially because we only had black nails. But I'm gonna try to add some white stickers over them and see if we can cover them up. But I added those 2 climbing plants on poles, and I really love the utilization of this vertical space. What do you think? Okay, so this is what it looks like. I know that there's still these up here, but I'm not gonna worry about them. In fact, I think I'm gonna come and try to like just paint over them very lightly. These are formerly the propagation magnets I had, so I still need to get rid of those. But I think from a distance, it does the job. And that's what will work until I paint it. And then again, as I continue to decorate the space and add plants and other decor, I think it'll work well. Yeah, just don't look close up. But I did both of them and it works for me for now. It's all waxed, wiped, and dried off. I went ahead and I built it again, and now I'm gonna install the lights. And something I'm super excited about is I'm upgrading the Barina strip lights for the Vego Garden lights. So they're exactly the same as the ones that were or that are in my plant cart. And this video is not sponsored or anything, but I was just really impressed with those lights. And honestly, for the price, I think these are 60 something a light, which is not cheap by any means. Barina is still a lot more affordable in that sense. But if you compare them to like the Soltech, what is their strip light called? I don't know. Or like the Mother Spectrum, these are a lot more affordable. And while the Soltech I do love, and they do give great light, and so does the Mother, to be completely fair, those are a lot more expensive than these Vego Garden ones. And like I said, I was just really impressed with them. And especially for Hoya, I think that they will really appreciate this nice strong light. So I have a 4-pack that we're going to be installing, and I'm not crazy about using adhesive on it, but I think that that's what we're going to have to do. So I think I'm going to install the lights first, and then we'll get the other console out of there. I think that that's what we're going to do. But yeah, I am a little bit, I don't know how else I would install them though if I don't do adhesive. I did consider briefly like, oh, maybe I can just do zip tie all around the shelf, but that's not very clean looking, so probably not. How do you open this? Huh. Oh, here we go. So this is what this looks like. There is a little manual, and there's a QR code to help you use them. I do think actually they have a built-in timer. I could be wrong. Yeah, so it does have a built-in timer that I'm going to have to figure out later, because we just don't have the time to do that now. But what I really loved about, I mean, first of all, I showed you in that other video, and I can show you now again, the light is really great. It's like over 2,000 foot candles in some areas in that grow cart, and it is a pretty significant distance and compared to like the Barina especially. But they also have a ton of modes that you can use them. So like depending on what you're growing, I have my grow cart lights set on leafy, which is more intense. Actually, seeds might even be more intense. I don't know, we can play around with that. But yeah, this is what the lights look like. I got 4 of them, so I figured they'll go like 1, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, I guess adhesive is our option, so let's see. Another reason why I really like them is because they swivel. So this is the thing that's either magnet or you would use the adhesive, and they just attach here via magnet, but then the light can swivel, which I really like, because like in the grow cart I set the lights up closest to like forward, and then I just aimed the light back so that the plants can face out. So yeah, again, I really think that this is a great value for the quality of the lights. Is it really? Thank you. I can't remember if I talked this out with you or just myself, but I actually ended up just adding 2 grow lights because I tested it before attaching all of them, and it's like all the way down to the bottom shelf from the grow light, there's a lot of areas that are getting over 1,000-foot candles. I just don't think that I needed all 4 for that, but I can definitely use the other 2 over here on this wall. I don't know that we're gonna install those in this video, but at least for now. So I will get to emptying out this other console and start making the switch. This is where I landed so far. I think I need to step away for a minute to just think things through, but I'm loving it. It already feels so much more spacious, even though it's a smaller console. And I do like a lot more the way that I'm able to style things versus those tiny little shelves, like the in-between space. So yeah, see you in the next one. It is day number, I have no freaking idea of when I started this plant room, plant office refresh, and I'm not done, but I've come to the conclusion that I need to either wrap this video up knowing that there's things to be done, or I'm just never gonna post it. I'm gonna go with option A because we've done a lot of work together so far, and then also hopefully give you time to give me feedback on some of the things that I know are missing and I need to incorporate, and maybe you have a better idea than some of the things that I've come up with. What's holding me back the most is that I don't want to spend money on temporary things. So for example, one of the big things is I need more light for the top shelf of this console, and or even more light for some of the things on this wall. And on this wall, ideally, I would love the track system from Russo or from Soltech. Ideally Russo because they have the beam that you can adjust. But I don't quite have the money to spend on that right now, and I don't want to spend money on a temporary solution. So that's kind of where I'm being held up. And then I'm also just getting really super fixated of like, well, the room's not ready, like why should I post this video or show it, or you know, this was supposed to be a room refresh but now it needs more work than it did before I started, which typically happens actually when you're like restyling or refurnishing or updating a space, so that's super common. But I'm trying my best to let go of my type A Virgo perfectionism situation, and yeah, I think that we've done a lot already. We've done some great changes in my opinion. I really like a lot of the things that I've done so far. I'll show you what the room is looking like, give you my thoughts on what I think I need or what I'm hoping to be able to do to again provide more light in those situations, or maybe like another, you know, couple things that I'm hoping to do. And then please give me your feedback if you have a better idea on how to solve some of those missing pieces that I'm encountering. Honestly, I blame the rug for all of this because having such a beautiful rug that I really feel is grounding the space and fitting it so perfectly, I really am anxious to get rid of the desk and replace it with, I would love to do kind of a sleeper sofa, obviously like a pretty small one, like full size type of situation for when sometimes my parents will stay the night or like my niece or what have you. So I would love to do that, but again, the bank account is not matching the ideas and wishes, so that's just not gonna happen right now. But yeah, I'm feeling just like it's just not complete, but updates were made and we did a lot of them together. So yeah, let me just show you how it's all looking so far without like, you know, we're not gonna talk about the desk because I don't feel like that's happening anytime soon, but the other kinds of things that I need for the plants, I will talk to you, or I will share what my ideas for some of those things are, and then I would love your feedback also on maybe if you have an idea or you have a setup that you think would work for me. And then I don't know if you can tell, but the plants, because it's been so long, the plants are back in the Milsbo cabinet. So I'm keeping just the plants that were there before and that made it back. There were a handful of plants that are in rehab over on the grow rack, but I'll do a whole separate video on that. But I am happy to have the plants back in the Milsbo cabinet. And I think I did say in this video, and if not in this video, in another one, that I really love the Milsbo wide greenhouse cabinet. I probably love it, not probably, I love it more than the tall. But with all of the issues that I've had with the spider mites, I'm strongly feeling like if I, you know, if in 3 weeks or whatever they pop up again, I'm probably gonna get rid of the Milsbo wide cabinet, because at that point I know they're hiding somewhere in the cabinet and somehow surviving the fact that they lived there for over 4 weeks without plants. So that is an idea for that also, but I'm really hoping that it's not an issue and I'm able to keep it. Okay, enough rambling. Let me show you and let's talk through the changes and the future plans. We're gonna start on this corner of the Milsbo cabinet. If you remember, all of my moss poles used to be here, but most of them are in rehab. So that is completely empty. I would like to, I think I would like a large pole there, something like my Splendid, but I do like where my Splendid is, but something like that right here. I mentioned I added some not floating, but some shelves up here, and I placed my Escaletto up there. So again, this wall just needs more light. obviously like better styling of the plants as well, and you know, some other touches, but I feel like in order to really start adding more plants here, I really just need proper light, because that escaleto is getting low light at best, and so is that Polypodoides. I did add some of these clip lights that I already had. They work really, really great, but I don't think that this, again, this is, I would need like a light per plant, and that's just not really realistic. I also moved, I had a Michelitziana here that looked gorgeous, but that's what I thought was, kept reintroducing the spider mites into the cabinet. So she is out in quarantine for a few more weeks until I can feel safe bringing her back in. I mentioned all of these plants were the original plants that were in the Milsbo wide cabinet that were under treatment, and I'll talk about that in another video. And I do want to add more plants in here, but first I want to wait probably another 3 weeks to make sure that no spider mites are in the cabinet again before I introduce any new plants in there. So for now it'll be kind of bare. I don't think I've talked about this plant really, but this was sold to me as a Fanny Moser. I think it is, and she's grown a lot, so I don't know, I just wanted to point her out because she's looking super cute and ready to be chopped and propped. This isn't gonna be a full updates video, but look at this leaf on the Snow Queen pole. She's gorgeous. Something I changed right away after I did the rug was I went ahead and I placed my Monstera elbow on like the highest little thing here, and I really love the way the elbow looks higher versus it was sitting so lower. But I love this little Monstera moment, and since I'm doing a little bit of updates, this is finally the newest leaf on the Aurea. It's still very much soft, so I don't know if it'll still expand or whatever, but it still needs to harden off. And look at that weird fenestration it did. Quite cute. These shelves are always hard to get, but they could use some work. I feel like some of the plants on here are pretty sad, like my Corniana Super Silver. The Opavata is okay. I'm still pretty worried. I mentioned in another video my Polynera, but she's still yellowing quite a bit on some strands, so I may look into propagating her some more. This Silver Mint coin we upsized recently and she's doing well. The Australis Lisa is always doing good. I just almost tripped over Blue. But in general, I feel like these shelves could use some TLC. They're also looking a little bare, so I'm hoping to bring, like, once my propagations from my prop boxes and my grow rack are ready, I'm hoping to fill this area a little more. This new console I love. Love, 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 love. I think it's perfect and beautiful. The space between the shelves really allows me to place more plants and to be able to easily access and even see them. Those grow lights, I cannot rave enough about how impressed I am with these grow lights. Like, I just had no idea that Vego Garden did grow lights and that they would be this good. I mean, truly, I feel like these are your go-to grow lights for any kind of shelving and things like that. Now, I do have 2 additional grow lights that can daisy chain onto these 2, and I've been playing around with how I could possibly use them to light up some of this top shelf, because as you can see, it's pretty, and I mean, this window is east facing. So it gets morning light, but that's about it. And these plants need more. So I brought my Gloriosum finally from the bathroom, so hopefully it'll start growing now because it really only gave me this leaf, and I don't blame it because, you know, it was in the bathroom not really getting great light. This is a Micheletiana that suffered a bit while I was unwell, but she's coming back. My Cuprea is not looking the best, but I feel like that's always the situation with that. This was my green dragon that clearly has been no longer for quite some time. The silver dragon is thirsty, so we'll water that. Watsoniana is looking huge. And then I placed my outer variegated Polynera here. She's grown so much, but also I'm starting to get quite a bit of damage. And I wonder if that's because it was way too close to the grow lights in the other console. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But okay, let's talk through what some of the options I was thinking for here. So Vego Garden actually does make a stand where you can attach the grow light, but I think you need to buy the grow light with the stand. I don't think I can buy just the stand. And I got this pack of 4 grow lights. So I'm looking into that as option 1 because that would be ideal. I could just place a stand on either side and I know that that would solve the problem of lighting for me. Option 2 is the Mother Spectrum light, this tall black one. They also have a stand, so it goes like this. And basically I would replace the base of it and then it would go, you know, it would stand horizontally, but it only goes up to 14 inches. So the only way that works is if I can actually tilt the light on the stand. And then I also don't love that it's black, but if it has to be black, then it has to be black. But if you have any other ideas on what I could do here, I would love to not hang something from the ceiling here because of the window, and I just think that, I don't know, but this is what I'm having a really, really hard time with on figuring out. But stay tuned, or please let me know what your setup looks like. And then obviously we're not done styling the bottom or any of that, but or the top for that matter, but I really do love the way the console looks there. I had to drink some water. Okay, so the Splendid is still here in the corner next to the Milsbo, and I really do like it there. It's continuing to size up, which is really nicely, and the only reason I don't like this light is because it's black, honestly, but it does a really good job at providing the light that the plants need. Another big change here is I got rid of my huge Anthurium crystallinum and my Anthurium Michelle, and I replaced it with my Thai Constellation and my Manjola pole. I like this much better. I feel like this just feels like more me. I may bring my Michelle back somewhere in the space at some point, but for now, I like the way that looks. Nothing really has changed inside the cabinet. There's some TLC that needs to happen, like trimming some of those yellow leaves and stuff, and actually my Monstera may need to come out, it needs to come out stat, and I may just place it up here next to my Thai because I think that they look really cute together. Nothing changed on these except I trimmed that one to propagate not long ago, and my Syndapsis exotica is not doing well already, which is no surprise because I feel like, I don't know, I just have trouble growing that plant, so I may just pass it on to my mom and it can become her problem. Up here, I just added these 2 Anthurium babies. They're both from Cartel Down, and the Vici and the Wendy were already there. And then we know my Ficus Taniki was here. And over here, my Varicosum, which is doing so well. And the third vine finally started giving me leaves with character. And there's a new bigger leaf coming from the main vine. But I love this plant so much, she's beautiful. And then down here is where I used to have the Thai Constellation, the Tordum, and the Polypodoides. So I kept just the totem with this new pole that I really like, and then I added that brass planter, and that's pretty much it for now. I have taken some measurements, but I'm not exactly sure how this would work. But ideally, I get rid of the desk and all, the monitor, the chair. I feel like I may get rid of the chair now because it's just really bulky, takes up a lot of space. And again, I don't use it, but probably would need to relocate the ficus taniki and then maybe even possibly move the cabinet a little further that way or maybe somewhere else in the space. And then this is where the sofa bed would go. And yeah, once the sofa bed is there, it'll obviously be lower and I can do a little bit of more styling over here on this wall. I will keep that shelf because I really love the way those anthuriums look. I want to bring my Crimson Queen back in there. Definitely replace that exotica with something else. I just don't know what yet. We need proper lighting for these plants and the top shelf, and then we need proper lighting for everything here on this wall. So some work to do. Also would love a plant for this area, and my vanity will stay, so that won't move. But yeah, we did a lot. I love the way the Monstera leaves are reflecting onto the rug. I really, really, really adore the rug. I think it's beautiful and it's so soft, such great quality. I find the dogs in here just lounging from time to time. It's super cute. Yeah, honestly, the rug is what makes me like so anxious to complete the rest of the space because I feel like it's just so beautiful. There you have it. Let me know your thoughts if you have any suggestions. I guess I will say that I should have mentioned, because I've been toying around with that idea, is I have 2 spare pendant Soltech grow lights, and I can, I guess, hang them off the ceiling like faux track system style, the way that I did the 2 that I had over here. My concern with doing that is, again, I wouldn't be spending money because I have them already, but it's a temporary fix because they are not the kind, I can't adjust the beam. So those grow lights typically need to be closer to the plant to really provide the plant the right amount of light that it needs. So I either need to hang them quite low, and then it's still only gonna target like maybe 2 plants each at best, or they're not gonna be good enough at all, and then it is the work and the extra hanging on the ceiling. But I guess that is a no or a 0 cost thing that I could do for now. Let me know what you think. But that's it for this. I'm gonna call it the first half of this room refresh because I feel like there's a lot to be done to really get the plants in a situation where they can properly grow and thrive. So we'll call this part 1 of the plant office refresh. I do have a discount code for Revival Rugs, so if you would like to shop, make sure you check that out. You get 10% off, and the code is only good till October 13th. I will list also everything else that I used down in the description if you're interested in any of it. If you have any questions, any suggestions, please, please, please give me your suggestions for providing the light that these plants need. And when I say that too, I'm very particular about the grow lights that I add because I feel like they really need to be aesthetic. Like I have one of the, for example, this mother light that works well and does the job great. It really bothers me that it stands out like a sore thumb. Like it doesn't match anything else in here. So yeah, I really, if you have any ideas how to aesthetically light up the 2 spaces that I need, please, please, please let me know. If you have any questions, let's chat down in the comments. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.